Our 10th wedding anniversary was supposed to be perfect. A quiet evening at a cozy downtown restaurant, a celebration of 10 years of love, trust, and shared memories. But it went completely wrong, all because of an offhand joke my best friend, Claire, made at the worst possible moment. We had invited her to join us for dinner, thinking it would be fun to celebrate with someone we both cared about. But halfway through the meal, after the appetizers had arrived, she leaned over toward me and whispered, laughing softly, "You know, sometimes I wonder if we're all just regretting our spouses. I mean, isn't it exhausting pretending to be happy all the time?" I froze, the words hitting me like an unexpected gust of cold wind. And before I could respond, my husband, Mark, who had been telling a funny story about our honeymoon, paused mid-sentence. His smile faded, and I noticed the tension creeping into his posture. At first, I thought he was joking, trying to match Claire's humor, but the way he glanced at me, with a hint of hurt and confusion in his eyes, told me immediately that he hadn't taken it lightly. I tried to laugh it off, telling Claire, "Oh, come on, it was a joke," but the damage had already been done. Mark had stopped smiling entirely, and for the rest of the meal, the energy at the table felt strained and awkward. Claire, oblivious to the shift she had caused, continued talking about her own marriage in exaggerated, sarcastic terms, which only made Mark more uncomfortable. I could feel the warmth between us, the intimacy we had shared for 10 years, beginning to erode under the weight of my friend's careless humor. Every time I reached for Mark's hand under the table, he pulled it away, and I realized just how fragile the mood had become. Dessert arrived, and the waiter brought a small cake with candles, the gesture meant to cheer us up and celebrate our milestone. But instead of light and laughter, it felt heavy. Mark barely smiled as I tried to sing, "Happy Anniversary," my voice tight, faltering, trying to fill the awkward silence. Claire clapped too loudly, oblivious, and I could see Mark's jaw tighten. He excused himself to the restroom, leaving me sitting alone with the remnants of what should have been a joyous moment. I felt a wave of guilt and frustration. Guilt because I hadn't stopped Claire sooner, and frustration because I had planned this night for months, only for it to fall apart because of a thoughtless joke. When Mark returned, he was calmer, but the tension hadn't fully lifted. I took a deep breath and said quietly, "I'm sorry, that joke wasn't funny, and I should have stopped it." He nodded, still avoiding eye contact, and I realized it would take more than an apology to mend the moment. The remainder of the evening was quiet. We finished our dessert in near silence, and when the check arrived, we didn't linger. I knew that our anniversary had been overshadowed by a careless comment, but I also knew that this moment was a lesson in boundaries, communication, and the importance of protecting the sanctity of our relationship from outside interference. Driving home, Mark remained silent, and I reached over to hold his hand. He hesitated, then took it, but the earlier warmth had cooled. I apologized again, explaining that Claire hadn't meant any harm, but that her words had struck me too, and I couldn't help noticing how much they had affected him as well. By the time we arrived at our apartment, the tension had softened slightly, and we sat together on the couch, the city lights streaming through the window. I told him how much I loved him, how much these 10 years meant to me, and how I regretted letting someone else intrude on our anniversary in that way. Slowly he relaxed, leaning into me and reminding me that love isn't just about perfect evenings, it's about working through uncomfortable moments together. By the end of the night, we hadn't fully erased the awkwardness, but we had acknowledged it, talked it through, and reaffirmed our commitment to each other. Our anniversary had gone wrong, yes, but it had also reminded us of the strength of our bond, the resilience of our partnership, and the importance of defending our moments of intimacy against thoughtless interference. And while Claire had intended a joke, the night ultimately became a lesson in how love survives not only in perfect celebrations but in the imperfect, sometimes painful reality of life together.